Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing something a little bit different. I was invited to a remote play session of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin. Quite a mouthful of a title, and a hell of a game. I really enjoyed my time with it. So here, what you're seeing now is footage of the multiplayer session that I had. So a bunch of people who turned up at the event, they all got matched up against each other and played a bunch of multiplayer games. I was actually matched against Pete the Wargamer, which was quite fun. I'd watched a lot of his content recently. He does a lot of good kit bashing. Didn't know he played video games at all. Maybe he just got invited to see stuff so he could make something. I'm interested to see what he comes up with. But anyway, I really enjoyed this. So basically, think Dawn of War, but Age of Sigmar. That's honestly, I've told you everything you need to know already. But I'm going to keep talking anyway, as is tradition around here. So as you can see, I've moved my units to grab some of the nearby sort of capture points. These are called arcane conduits, and here you can see I'm hovering over different bastions that you can build on the arcane conduit. So there's 4 to choose from. The one that I'm hovering over, that I need 200 command, that's what that resource is called. I need 200 command to build this. This will actually start generating the realm stone, which is the, if you look at the top left, you have command, then the realm stone resource, and then you have your population cap for your units. So certain units have a higher cap than others. If they're special, they cost a couple of population cap, and the basic ones just 1 each. And that cap will increase, and the way to do that is by spending realm stone at your command post, which is right at the which is that tent that we saw at the start next to the realm gate, I suppose is what it's called. So that is where you basically rally new units from. What I'm about to capture here is an objective point, a victory point rather, and that will, well, that lets us have a victory if you collect 2 of them. Well, if you have more than your opponent, basically, then your opponent's points start ticking down. You can see the points at the top. I'm on 742 at the moment, and Pete is on 750. So the more objectives you have control of, the quicker that's going to deplete. So that's what I'm trying to get now. But you can see on the minimap. The minimap is very useful, by the way, for, you can do the usual RTS stuff. You can issue commands directly onto the minimap, and you can use it to zip around the area quite quickly. It's very nice and clear. So enjoying that. And you can see I have some more units here. So there are quite a selection of units, which I can't be bothered to list because I can't remember the name of half of these, like Stormcast Eternals. Right now, there are already 2 factions, by the way, sort of revealed to people, which is the Stormcast Eternals and the Kruleboys. So basically, like Space Marines, but Age of Sigmar, and orcs, but weird orcs. They're Kruleboys. They're kind of like orcs, but they sort of they're more goblin-y. They're more about like tricksy kind of tactics. So here you see there is the different icons on the top. I have shields, they have bows. Technically that means I have the advantage, though they did shoot me a bunch before they got in. There is a sort of rock, paper, scissors that goes on between shields, swords and bow icons. So shields are good against bows. Swords are good against shields, and bows are good against swords. But there's a bunch of other units that sort of exist outside of that rock, paper, scissors thing, certain sort of support units or heroes or whatever else that sort of sit on their own. But it means you can get sort of a quick idea of how things are going to go, and if you're seeing like a lot of enemy swords, then maybe you want to get a lot of bows, or your own swords to, sort of be evenly matched against them, and then some bows to tip the scales in your favour. But, a lot of the time, you kind of just want to run away. So there's some interesting control schemes that I think they've added, which are really nice. So basically, if you have a bunch of people selected, they all have abilities, right? There's a lot of abilities here. I can see here I'm finally building a bastion to get realm stone, which will absolutely help. Oh, my second one, actually. I built one already there, didn't I? But anyway, it's fine. So there's a really nice control scheme. If you have a bunch of guys selected, they each have their own special abilities that they can use, but that will all cost you command or realm stone to use. So it's actually you're spending resources to use their abilities, which means that a lot of the time you want to just sort of make do with the rock paper scissors, and sometimes you just need to make sure you kill things quicker. or you want to make sure that your guys stay alive longer. You know, it depends on what abilities you're using, really. But sometimes it's worth that investment because you're doing something like defeating the entire enemy force, you know, or you're trying to take over an objective point, which will help win you the game. So sometimes it's worth putting that extra investment just to tip the scale slightly in your favour. But what's nice is the time to kill is quite low. It takes quite a long time to kill units, which I think is really, really nice. And as well as it taking quite a while to kill units, you're sort of stuck fighting them. Once a unit gets into a fight, they're just stuck in that fight. So you have basically two options. You can either fight to the death, or you can retreat. But if you retreat, they run all the way back to your command post, and then you have to heal them up as well, which your command post can do, by the way, but it does cost command to heal. So is it worth healing guys you already have or recruiting new guys? You know, sometimes it's a simple equation, sometimes it's not so much. Here you can see I'm retreating, and the way I did that is I selected them, and then you can press tab to basically have, you know, kind of select your primary selection out of the group. And once you have that primary selection, it'll highlight their abilities, and you can use the hotkeys to trigger their abilities, or tab to the next guy to use their abilities. And retreating is something you can do there. You can also charge as well, by the way. So before you're locked into combat, you can charge into the enemy to get some bonuses, which is rather nice. So it does give you some flexibility. It does sort of reward you being quite quick on the draw. You know, if you see like a red blip on the minimap and hear one of your yellow ones, quickly get there and maybe you can get that charge off before they get the charge on you. And it just helps, you know, if you're the one initiating the fight, to get a small advantage there, which is, you know, kind of cool. Although what tended to happen with me, because we were playing remotely, is every time I tried to charge, the input wouldn't get there quick enough, and the charge button is the same as the retreat button. It obviously just depends, are you in combat or not, but by the time it would sort of take my inputs into account, I'd be retreating, so a lot of the time I was just running all the way, so I was a bit iffy about charging. The input lag did get better, but my confidence in being able to charge did not improve, so I don't do it that much in this session. Oh, and it must be said as well, I did mention the minimap was very, very useful. However, a few people, my opponent here included, did have problems where the minimap, the input got like swapped around, so I don't exactly know what happened, but basically when they were clicking on the minimap, it wasn't actually clicking where they were clicking, it was clicking somewhere else on the map, so it was really difficult to utilise that, which I know if I couldn't use the minimap reliably, that would have slowed me down a hell of a lot, so I think that is worth mentioning. You know, we're not playing this competitively, we are both learning the game here. I think it is worth highlighting that. And I've got to say, it was really tense playing. So you can see here, I'm taking some other objectives. And being the Stormcast Eternals, you know, they're pretty great fighters, right? I did get the impression they were more powerful than the Orcs a lot of the time. I did get the feeling that I could usually win a fight. But I was getting outnumbered a lot. I always felt like I was getting attacked by far more than I was able to field. Which, you know, maybe I just wasn't using resource management particularly well, but who knows. So here you can see I'm basically trying to always avoid his army, knowing that I'm going to get overwhelmed, which probably is a bit of a dumb move. I probably should have faced him a bit more head-on, but until things were really desperate, I just wanted to keep going where he wasn't. That's what I wanted to do, and just try and do that as efficiently as possible. But of course that's going to get harder and harder as his numbers get higher and higher. So it's always sort of these interesting mind games in a game like this. And especially here you can see those guys are locked into combat now, which honestly is atrocious. It's really, really bad news that we're locked into combat there. Because it has a bunch of spare units. So if they outnumber you, they can lock down more of your army. And then they can have the rest of their army run off and go do other things, or they can get in the fight too. You know, you can obviously gang up on people. In fact, there you can see my archers getting surrounded. But I think I win this engagement. Yes, I do quite well there. It is most of my army though, and there's still a lot of people prowling. But yeah, I think I basically told you everything about this game. I mean, it's very hard to tell you exactly what I was thinking and when, because I recorded this. Well, I didn't record this. I got sent the footage from from the machines that I was remoting into. But anyway, I got sent the footage a week after. So, I mean, I have no idea what I was thinking in a lot of this. Except that I was having a lot of fun with it. It was incredibly tense. It was an incredibly tense game to play, which I think is brilliant in a game like this, to feel that the stakes are always, you know, sort of ever present. I think the unit cap is a really nice way to sort of rein in the numbers when there are so many places on the map to conquer. It means you can't really have eyes everywhere. Oh, except there are 4 different kinds of bastions, and one of those can help with that. So the different bastions you can build, there's the one for the Realmstone resource that I've been basically getting exclusively because that upgrades our command thingy, which gives you access to more units, all the rest of it. So that's really nice. But there's also a defensive turret, which will shoot enemies that come near, and you know it'll help hold that point for a lot, you know, a lot more reliably. There's also a reconnaissance one, which basically just a line of sight, you know, giver, which is really handy. So if you can actually see things coming a mile off, then you get to react more. Right? You can't play these mind games so much if your opponent is building a lot of those towers, because you see them go one way, you know, or you feint one way to try and pull their attention and then charge in with a larger army somewhere else. They're going to see that larger army and they're going to know what you're doing. So, you know, mind games are a lot of this, but you can slow that down. But of course, a line of sight tower means you're not getting your defensive turret or your Realmstone resource, so there is a trade-off there. But also, there's a healing tower as well, which I reckon is something I should have invested in, for sure, near my command post. Because if you're retreating units, it would be really nice not to have to spend, so you can see at the bottom here actually, 150 command to heal nearby units, which is quite a lot of command. That's, you know, that's a few units. Some of the cheaper units only cost 40 command to recruit. So you're talking more than 3 units, you know, almost 4 units there that you could recruit with that amount of command. So simply just building a healing one and being able to use that throughout the entire, you know, sort of battle would be really nice, really good to have. Oh, but of course you can't build any towers on the victory points. So that you just have to fight for them. And you can see I am fighting for them quite successfully. I'm not actually sure where the other army is. I don't think we wiped it all out, did we? Not sure. But anyway, I'm putting some pressure on the tower above. And you can see there's some pressure on the right there. They took over a command point down the bottom. So we do have some line of sight on some of the victory points using spare units. I am sort of splitting up quite a lot at the moment, but I've got all 3 points. So you can see that the enemies' victory points are going down. Well, I say victory points, just their points, their score. I'm not really sure what to call it. Their health? I don't know. The points at the top of the screen. It's going down pretty damn quickly now, which means I'm getting closer to victory, which is, you know, great news. So I'm going to keep attacking their command post now. So at this point I realised I had control over everything, which was a struggle to get. So now, knowing that my guys are pretty good, like I have some pretty good units, I have denied my opponent a lot of ground here, I'm just going to start attacking their base. That's all I'm going to do. So I don't actually know the effect of attacking their base. I don't know if that lowers the health of their base and you can destroy it and then you win. I didn't get that far, but putting it under threat like that meant that he had to react to it. He had to try and get my units off his base, and by doing that he wasn't capturing the victory points. So I was able to hold him off there, which is really nice. I delay him a hell of a lot by forcing his units into a fight. And here you can see I actually have plenty of points to spend, so I'm going to try and get some more units out there. Oh no, I just got one unit that was ruddy expensive, so, you know, fine, I'll try that one out, I guess. But you can see I've managed to delay them a hell of a lot. I still have all 3 capture points, and I am now in the lead, thanks to this, which is very, very handy. And then he is retreating because all of his units are damaged, and he doesn't want to push them out until they're healed, by the looks of it. Which, oh wait, no, he has decided to move out. So that's another thing that you have to sort of decide. Do you move your guys out injured because you need to grab ground? You know, do you seize your advantage there, or do you make sure you're ready for the next bout? So that's kind of fun. So one thing that I could have done, which I probably should have done, honestly, should have been a bit more on the ball, is retreating more often when I had the chance. Because you can see they run, they get out of there really well, and it saves the unit. You don't have to recruit a new one. You do have to heal them, but of course the more units you have that you're healing, it still costs the same amount to trigger that like AoE heal from your command post. So, you know, it costs you the same to heal, no matter how many units you have there. So it is worth it if you can get all of your units out of the fight. That's great. But just the delaying strategies there, you know, I've got all 3 points still. So that went really, really well. Although I do feel I could have lost a couple of those by now. Definitely could have lost a couple of those by now. I'm not sure Pete realised he was losing quite as many points as he was. Or perhaps he thought I had a lot more units kicking around and was a bit apprehensive. That's part of the mind games, you know. But yeah, you can see that we are taking down another one of their points. I'm trying to force him to go into areas that aren't the capture points and punish him for, you know, going all in on the capture points. If he decides to do that by taking over other territory of his. You know, as soon as you slow down, as soon as you have your units blobbed up somewhere, you aren't able to control as much of the map. So that's what you're constantly having to switch between. You know, attack with a big army, force them to consolidate, and then run off in a million different directions to grab what territory you can. It's very, very handy. Okay, so what do I try and do here? I think I just try and, like, force them to chase me a bit, so I can delay them from getting the capture point. Ah, yes. And I realised I actually have an ability I could have used. Nice stun. Slows everyone down a bit. And again, delays them from getting more capture points. Okay, so I'm going for that other victory point there. Okay, good stuff. I don't really know what else to say. I'm delaying people. I don't know what's going through my mind right now. Except, come on, get that last victory point. Come on, you Stormcaster turtles. That I always forget the name of, by the way. I'm sure I will later on. Also, one other thing I will say, which is nice to know, is that there's actually going to be an open beta for this game coming out on the from the 7th to the 10th of July. So literally in a few days' time. It's this weekend. If you're watching this, you know, the day that this video comes out, it's this coming weekend. I think it's Friday to Sunday or something. Friday to Monday. I don't know. 7th to the 10th. So really, really cool. Really, really cool. So other people will be able to play this. But what is nice, although I was playing this multiplayer, there is a campaign for this game, right? I don't think any of that will be a part of the open beta. However, that will be coming for release if people are going, oh, I don't want to play a multiplayer game, I want to play a campaign. Well, there is going to be a campaign. So that's great. I'm actually really looking forward to the campaign more than playing multiplayer, even though the multiplayer is really good. But if multiplayer is not your thing and you just want to play this game, there is a single-player mode. There is a single-player skirmish in this game. In the beta. So you will get to play just against the AI if you want to just familiarise yourself with the game, or just, you know, just play something that's a little less stressful than playing multiplayer. But yep, that beta is this weekend. I recommend you check it out. I think you can just go on Steam and just click play beta and you're good. I'm pretty sure that's as complicated as it is. But yeah, there we go. So I got the victory because I managed to lower their victory points down to 0. So, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Really enjoyed it. I must say, this was the second game that I played as the Stormcast Eternals. The first one that I played didn't go so well. Because the first one that I played, I didn't know how to recruit any units. I had no idea what the hell was going on. So I just sort of ran around for a bit. Tried to capture some points. My units eventually just sort of died and I got completely overwhelmed because I couldn't recruit anything. So I had to surrender and ask people, what the hell am I doing? And yeah, this was the game that I realised, oh, these are things you can do. You can recruit units. You press D, by the way. When you have nothing selected, press D. And it boots up that window. I know, it's very weird. But anyway, I do have one more video for you guys today. I'm doing another battle. I have another battle against Pete the Wargamer, where I am playing as the Kruleboys, and I'm against his Stormcast Eternals. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And yeah, I'll probably end up repeating myself a hell of a lot. I don't know which video people are going to click on first, so just assume I'm going to be repeating myself and just enjoy the scenery and the sound effects and all the rest of it. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Comment, like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.